There was a monster who lived in a land far away where everyone giggled all the time. It was a small village nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers. The houses were painted in cheerful colors, and laughter echoed through the streets like music. But there was one person who didn't join in the giggles, and that was the Giggle Monster. Now, this wasn't because he was a grumpy or a mean guy. No, not at all. In fact, the Giggle Monster had the biggest heart in the world. He just couldn't giggle. You see, when he tried to let out a giggle, it came out as a snort, and when he tried to snort, well, it came out as a honk. And instead of honking, he wanted to sing, but alas, his voice sounded more like a frog than a nightingale. This made the Giggle Monster very sad. Every day, he would walk through the village trying to fit in, but all the villagers would do is stop their giggles and stare at him. "Oh dear," they'd say, covering their ears. "Not again. Here comes the Giggle Monster with his horrible noises." The Giggle Monster would feel tears pricking at his eyes, so he'd turn around and run away. He tried everything to fix his voice. He gargled with water from the sparkling river, ate sunshine and raindrops, and even tried to learn from the birds. But nothing worked. The Giggle Monster continued to sound like a frog with a cold. One day the Giggle Monster was sitting by himself under a tree, watching the other monsters play. A little giggle flew over to him. "Why don't you come and play with us?" she asked. "We're having so much fun." The Giggle Monster shook his head sadly. "I can't join you. You know I can't giggle." The little giggle looked at him for a moment. "Well, that's silly," she said. "Giggles aren't everything. You can still play with us even if you can't giggle." She took his hand and pulled him toward the others. "Come on, let's play hide and seek." The Giggle Monster felt a warmth spread through him. Maybe he could be happy even without being able to giggle. He played with the giggles until sunset, and for the first time in a long time, he forgot about how different he was. But then something wonderful happened. As they were playing, the Giggle Monster accidentally let out a giggle. It wasn't a snort or a honk, it was a real giggle. All the giggles stopped and stared at him, and the Giggle Monster froze, afraid it would turn into a snort or a honk. But it didn't. Instead, another giggle escaped his lips, then another and another. Soon he was giggling as hard as the rest of them, and all because he'd forgotten to try not to giggle. The little giggle who'd invited him to play ran over to him, her eyes shining with excitement. "You can giggle," she exclaimed. "You can really giggle." The Giggle Monster felt a blush creep onto his cheeks. I guess I can," he stammered. The next day, the Giggle Monster woke up feeling happier than he ever had before. He put on his best clothes, combed his hair and walked into the village, his head held high. All the villagers gasped when they saw him coming. They'd heard about his giggles, and they wanted to see if they were true. The Giggle Monster took a deep breath and let out a big, "Hello there." A giggle poked her head out from behind a house. "Did you just say hello?" she asked. The Giggle Monster nodded. "I did. Is that all right?" The giggle beamed at him and shouted, "Hooray!" The Giggle Monster can talk. In no time, the whole village was bustling with activity as everyone ran to tell everyone else about the Giggle Monster's new talent. Before he knew it, the Giggle Monster was surrounded by the whole village. All the giggles were staring at him, waiting for him to say something, and he didn't disappoint them. "I want to apologize for all the times I've upset you," he said. "I didn't mean to hurt your ears." "I'm sorry." A giggle touched his arm. "Don't be sorry," she said. "We didn't mind your noises. We just didn't understand them." "It's silly to judge someone for being different," another giggle nodded. "Yeah, we should have been nicer to you." "I'm sorry I haven't been here more often," the Giggle Monster said. "It's just that when I couldn't giggle, I thought you wouldn't want me around." "Well, that won't happen anymore, will it?" a giggle asked with a smile. "Oh, no, it won't," the Giggle Monster promised. And that's when they all heard a loud crash followed by Queen Giggle's voice. "What was that noise? Someone break a giggle bone." The Giggle Monster gasped. "Oh dear, I must go help her," he said. He turned to the villagers. "Please take care of my garden while I'm gone, and thank you for being my friends." Then he raced out of the village. When he reached the castle, he found Queen Giggle sitting on a throne made of giggle juice. Her crown had fallen into a nearby vat, and she was too short to reach it. "Your Majesty," the Giggle Monster said, "how can I help you?" Queen Giggle looked up. "Oh, hello, Giggle Monster," she said. "I need my crown. Would you please go get it for me?" The Giggle Monster nodded and carefully dipped his head into the vat to retrieve the crown. When he lifted it out, he saw a small sparkle on the inside. "Here you go, Your Majesty," he said, handing it to her. She placed the crown back on her head and beamed at him. "Thank you, Giggle Monster. You're a true hero." She pressed a button on the throne, and suddenly a banquet appeared before them. "I'm so hungry," she said. "Let's eat." The Giggle Monster sat down and they ate together. After the feast, Queen Giggle took him on a tour of the castle. "It's so beautiful," he said, his eyes wide with wonder. Suddenly, Queen Giggle stopped. "I have an idea," she said with a mischievous twinkle in her eye. "Why don't you be my jester?" she asked. "You can wear funny clothes and make everyone laugh. I think you'd be great at it." The Giggle Monster's eyes lit up. "Really? You'd want me to be your jester?" he asked. Queen Giggle nodded. "Of course, it'll be so much fun." And so the Giggle Monster became the jester. He wore silly clothes and told jokes and sang songs, and everyone loved him, especially Queen Giggle. At the end of each performance, she would shower him with confetti and praise. "Encore, encore," the crowd would shout, and the Giggle Monster would bow and take it all in. He was finally accepted for who he was, a monster who couldn't giggle, but could bring joy to others in his own unique way. From that day on, the Giggle Monster never felt left out or alone. He had a purpose and a place where he truly belonged, all because he dared to be himself.